Hello again. How are you? This is Betty, and today I'm here. I'm glad for those who are following, who are staying with me in this journey. I'm here to continue my story that I started a few days ago, showing you and telling you the story of how I started from being a CNA all the way to being an entrepreneur. Hi, if we haven't met, if you haven't watched the previous videos, my name is Betty, and I help women in healthcare with through their mental health, from burnout to breakthroughs. And I also help them with systems, creating systems that help them through, navigating the day-to-day work in the office. So again, we'll just continue to from where I left yesterday. So I was telling you a story of, how I started, how I decided to go back to school. And so today I will talk about starting my home care agency. Okay. That's very important. Starting my home care agency. So I started my home care agency in 2019. That's when I recorded and registered my business in 2019, and then um, went ahead and got all the paperwork from the state. Okay, because first you have to register your business, and then after registering, you get the state license. Then when you get the state license, that's when work starts. Now why I had challenges along the way, but I want to talk about why I started home care specifically. So I started a non-medical home care, and I started a non-medical home care because that was the what it was easier for me to start, especially because I was transitioning from a CNA. So it was difficult for me to start, and it was easy. And then the requirements, it had a lot of requirements, but at least it didn't need me to have a nurse on board to be able to get my license. So I was like, okay, so since I don't need a nurse, let me just start this. And then I am in Texas. I think I mentioned this previously. I went to the Texas, to the website for the Texas Health and Human Services, and I went through the requirements. Some of them were difficult to understand, but what I did, I was proactive. So what I did, I actually even showed up in the offices. Okay, I showed up in the offices for the state offices just to find out the steps that I need to for clarification. And on days that I could not go because of work, what I did was go ahead and call. And I was amazed because when I called and said what I wanted to do and where I was, some reason, because of God's favor, I never had a hard time. I actually had the opportunity to talk to someone, and they told me, no, you need, don't do this fast, do this. And I thank God for that opportunity, because if it's not for God's favor, then definitely I would not have had that turnout when I made those calls there. So that is one reason why I chose home care. The fact that I did not need a nurse on board, and the fact that even if I was, as long as I was doing it right and with everything that was needed, then I was able to continue, and I was able to go ahead and you know offer the services. But I read somewhere, I started reading stories about people who've started home cares and other things that they're going through, and the things that, they don't, what can I say? They don't do things right. And I started reading some horror stories about people going to jail and all that. And I said, that will not be me. I'll have to do everything right. If I don't know how to do it, then I ask for help. Okay, so that's why I chose home care. The second thing why I chose home care was because of the investment because you have to look at the financial investment. Okay, so I looked at the investment as for the state. I looked at the investment for registering. I looked at the investment of working with a consultant, because if you're working with a consultant, the fee is a little bit different, not too much, but a little bit different when you're working with a skilled services and non-skilled services. Some consultants have a way of making it easy for non-medical to get a different price, and medical to get another price. So I had to look at that. I had to look at the demographics where I was. So I had to do like market research just to see where I was in the area. Okay. So we're going to go through, after I finish my stories, we're going to go through like step by step in the upcoming episodes, like what I did step by step. So if you're thinking of starting your own home care, you can just go ahead and do that. Okay. So the other thing I did was just document my experience as a CNA. And when I looked at the requirements for what a home care is needed, I was like, yes, I can even do this myself before I start hiring people. So those were some of the things I looked at. And that was before knowledge. Now, if I was starting over again a new home care, I wouldn't do it myself. I would probably concentrate on doing more of marketing than doing it myself. Okay. That's a story for another day, because if you're working in your business, it's hard to find clients because you're not going out there to find clients. You're always within you working as a caregiver. Okay. So that's I will definitely, as we go along the way, I will put on more episodes of how you can scale, how you can niche out to in home care, because even in home care you do have different kinds of niches. Okay. And then also we'll talk a lot, but mostly I will be concentrating on the administrative part of it, because that's something, if you neglect, then you're going to have problems. So when I talk about administration, is like how your overall office, how your office is run, from your systems to your caregiver, your hiring process, your intake process, all those things. It's a very big umbrella of things that you need. Now, if you're working with me on a one-to-one where we are doing your home care from scratch, then those are things that we go on with. We work on them, we do hands-on work, and we help you to gather that information. But here I will also give you tips which you can also use to go ahead and continue with your business. So that is those are the three reasons why. The first reason why I started my home care was because of my experience as a caregiver and a CNA, and also my state where I live allowed me to start a home care without having to have a nurse on board. Now, there are some states that you must have a nurse on board, but in Texas, you just need to have the administrator, that's yourself, and you find someone who is an alternate administrator, that is someone else who you trust. I don't advise having someone you don't trust in that, because administrators are open to a lot of information to do with the business. So when the state comes for survey, then they will need, if you're not there, then the alternate administrator has to be there to help. Okay. So those are the three reasons. And then the other one was the expense, how much it took in general. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Okay, so when I determined like how much it was, I was like, okay, this is what I need for registration. This is what I need for the state. This is what I need for the consultant, because I need policies and procedures and all the systems set up. I put everything together, and then I broke them down in pieces. So, of course, I started with the registration of the company, then state application, and then now the consultant part to put everything together. So, the other thing, you can give the consultant the whole thing to do for you. So, it's up to you. Okay, depending on how much you have. So I looked at my finances and I was like, okay, remember I had gone part-time, so I looked at my finances and I was like, okay, so what can I do to fix this? So I took on extra hours. Okay. I had to take on extra hours, and those extra hours I did dedicated that money, all of it, to my home care project. Okay, so that my pay is not affected by this project that I have. Because remember, I have a newborn, I have a new family, we are trying to put things together. So my pay for the responsibilities I had in the home, they're not affected by whatever I am doing. Okay. Then the extra hours I'm taking, like, maybe I would see 4 extra clients, that will help me to put things together and be able to start my plan. So actually, prior to uh, 2019, I had done so many things to put money together. So, and then my husband also chipped in and put some money in. So that helped me, especially with the registration. He really helped me with that because, with the consultant had a pay plan, which was only 2 payments, but it was 2 payments that she put, a 1 month gap to come up with. So we were able to work and get that money in. So, so the thing is, then yes, so that's it. So there are there are some ways you can find finances for starting your home care. For example, if like what I did, because first of all, I don't like loans, and at that point when I was starting my business, I did not really understand how loans work. So I was like, just to avoid my stress level being so high, let me work on getting this money. That's why I decided to take a second job to be able to continue with my project. And also, the other way you can get finances is when your family members chip in. So for me, I was blessed that my husband chipped in my registration. So that worked out perfectly for me. But if you might find that maybe your spouse or your significant other is not able to afford that, so you might have a family member that is able to afford that for you, and you can go in there and take be able to borrow some money. And then when you're doing a return, like when you say you're going to return, please return the money unless someone gifts you. And also when you say you're returning, then talk with them for how long will they give you to return their money. So that's another option. So that's another thing I did, and which worked out perfectly for me because of my first situation. The other thing is, if you have a very good business plan and you want to walk into your bank and be able to borrow money, although there's a lot of stipulations with that, or maybe if you have like a card that you can use as a credit card, then you can put in your money there, but you have to do things right. Okay. Then I said there were 2 options you can take to get your license. You have option 1 where you do everything yourself and stress yourself out. That's option 1. I say stress yourself out because I went through it, so I know why I'm talking about the stress. So you can have that option of going that way, stress yourself out, and maybe you like doing research. If you like doing research and writing things down and doing things, then you can go that way. Or you can go the route of you register your company. You can do that. You can do that from your computer, right? You can do from whichever state you are in. You can do that on your computer. Register your company, get your EIN number. That's for your taxes, and then find a consultant. Okay, and when you find a consultant, try and find a consultant that is wholesome, who has may not be everything, but has most of everything that you need. Because remember, you will need your policies and procedures. You need someone to help you set up your office. So if they can do one or the other or everything. Okay. So that's another option. So so now the other thing I did not excuse me. The other thing I did not say was the part where once you've done your setup and everything, then you have to start doing the work. Then now you have to scale down to your work. Remember the work that you took, the double shift? Everything is done, then you have to scale down. And that's what I did. Once everything was done, I had to scale down. Now, take away the PRN job that I was doing because that did the job it needed to do. I was able to start the home care. And then now, after that, come back, re refigure yourself out, and then start working. So that's what I did at that point. So the next thing I want to talk about today is systems, the power of systems, and how I stopped working 24/7. Because remember, I had my job, then I had my family, then I had to come back and because I was doing everything myself, now come back and start doing all these systems. I find that I'm working very late because I go cook, come back. Once the baby is done, I come back to the computer, start working, and sometimes I'll stay until 10, 11. I'm so tired. The next day at 4:30 in the morning, I'm awake. I'm so tired. So, and that is because there was no system. So I started praying to God to give me an idea of what I need to do to fix the problem because it was a big problem. Then this part, I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. Do not despise your humble beginnings. Okay? If other people despise you for your humble beginnings, do not despise yourself for humble beginnings. When I was praying to God about what can I do, God, what can I do? Heavenly Father, what can I do? This burnout is too much for me. Show me what I can do. Teach me what I can do. And when you teach me what I can do, I will teach someone else what to do. And so um, the Lord gave me this idea of putting my days in different batches. We all have 24 hours and we cannot do everything in those 24 hours, but he gave me an idea of how to put things in batches because remember, I'm not done with school. Okay, so if you've been following my episodes, you realize that, oh my god, she has so much on her plate. But after this prayer, God started showing me how to break things down during the week, during the day, what to do and what not to do. Remember, I'm blocking between 9 and 4 p.m. is blocked because of work. Okay. I was no longer working night shift. So I was working during the day, 9 to 5 kind of system. Okay. And I had to drive to work and back home. So I wasn't working from home. So God gave me an idea of putting but my things in batch form, like from this time to this time, this is what you're doing. From this time to this time, this is what you're doing, and stick to it. Okay, stick to that program. And then the other thing I did was I got my school schedule, I got my work schedule, I got my home duties, I got everything on the table. And then I started planning out and also planning out of my calendar what I did not need because I realized there was so much time wasted in my calendar. And then also during the day, there was a lot of time wasted. So those are some of the things I did. I had to put everything together and write little by little what I needed to do. So I did, I'm very good in the morning. I like doing things in the morning. So in the morning, I gave that to my school. Okay, so my schoolwork was in the morning. Okay, and then after that, take care of the baby, drop the baby in daycare. Then the next thing to do is go to work, then come back, get everybody eaten and ready, and everybody is relaxed. I make sure everybody is happy. And then I take 2 hours out and just go and do my stuff. And then what I did is because I couldn't do everything in one day, I made it like a situation where on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday was school, you know, and then in the evening, business. Then on Tuesday and Thursday was school, so I can do my revision because I had Saturday class, right? I was a weekender in school. So Saturday morning was dedicated to school, and then in the afternoon is just at home and everybody, whatever everybody else is going through, going to visit and everything. So I had time for family. Okay. On Sunday is church, and then after church, just trying to figure out the week, see how the week is doing, and then I had rest time because that is one thing I told God that I really needed was rest time. And I repeated this schedule for about a month. By the second month, it was already in my system. Okay, it was already in my system. It was so much in my system that when I finished school, I was wondering what to do with the time. So God gave me another idea to go talk to my boss and change my schedule. So where I worked for an insurance company. I have worked for this insurance company for many years, but in this particular department, I was new, okay? So I had just moved from one department to another, and I was going to ask for favors. So I prayed to God for favor, and God gave me favor to start working at 7:30, and they were okay with that. So by that time, I've dropped off my son, and then I started work at 7:30. And then they came up with this thing at work where during, because insurances, our peak season is between November and February. So between February and October, the end of October, they allow you to do flex work. And I was like, oh my God, I was so elated with that. So I took my flex, I took the option of flex. So I had one day in the middle on Wednesday, I had that day off. Okay. So when I had that day off, I was able to do a lot of things, do my homework. I was even able to go out and meet people for marketing, you know, and very intentional. Like I wake up in the morning, I drop my son, and I have dressed up. I have my badge on for my business. I have my flyers, my cards, and everything, and I show up. Okay, and I show up, and then I started getting clients. Okay, so because in the beginning I did not have clients, I started doing like Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, and if someone did not mind, like an evening, so I would use Tuesday and Thursday evenings to go see my clients. And so things started shaping up. Okay, things started shaping up, and I thank God for that idea. I still use that idea to date. I still use all the ideas, and I'm comfortable with them because I'm able to have time to do other things and family and things, other things I enjoy, but I'm also able to come on here and share with you my story because I've been relaxing today and just been chilling and sitting with my son and watching movies. Okay, so that's why I use that system. And that system, I also teach anyone that comes to my circle, I teach them that system. I teach them that system, and it's not set on stone, okay? Everybody's life is different, but you can use it as an example of leveling up or moving on to something else, okay? So, first of all, I'm going to be talking about systems in this channel, okay? A lot. I'm going to be talking about operations. I'm going to be talking about things, day to day things that happen in a business. But I just wanted you to see from a background, like where I'm coming from, is the things that I used, the things that I still use are things that I've gone through. A few minutes ago, I said, do not despise your humble beginnings. When I started, I went and did, years ago in 1999, I graduated with my diploma in administrative studies. So when I graduated with that diploma, I went and worked as a personal assistant, an executive assistant, the CEO, and eventually became a project coordinator. So I had the background of administrative things that I could use at my work because of experiences too in the different kinds of sectors that I'd worked. part of the places I've worked are places like telecommunication. I've worked with auditors and CPAs, and I've worked in healthcare for the longest in my life. It's now going to 16 years that I've worked in healthcare. That's the longest career continuation that I've had. And then now as a business owner, I'm in home care business, and I'm also a consultant in the home care space, but I'm a consultant for the healthcare space too. So when it comes to healthcare in general, I'm able to help you set up systems. So my systems are very simple. My systems you get to, I do because of experience and what I have gone through, I work with you as a CEO to remove burnout from you and put that time that you're spending so much on systems and automations. Okay. And so when we do that, it frees up your time for you to be able to go and do your marketing and scaling of things, or you can start something else. It's up to you, but at least you have time and you have systems. You have systems in a way that when you leave your office and maybe you've traveled out of the country, or just gone on vacation, or you just want to take time off and stay home, that's staycation, you are able to do that. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just sharing my story so that you see, like how all the things that I learned in school, how I practically put them in my business, and how I have helped other people come together and see this. So tomorrow we're going to be diving into other things that CEOs go through, and we'll start now. Transitioning now to more of the talks of things that you know really are solidifying. So the other thing I wanted to mention is I welcome you to subscribe to this channel and put the automation for the notifications on, so that every time I come on here to share something, you are there with me, you're hearing what I'm saying, and we can move along. Then, if you feel that you are encouraged to start your home care, go ahead and start it. I always tell people, just go ahead and start it. And this is not just for CNAs, this is for anyone who feels they can start a business in healthcare. The only thing I ask you is to do things right, okay? Be right with your systems, be right with your license, be right with people too. This is a people business, whether it's caregivers, marketers, social workers, nurses, it's a people business, okay? So, the other thing, when you look at my description, you will see links, and the links, some of the links you will see, there's a private group, a private Facebook group that you can join on there. Come on and join us, and let's build each other. Then also you will see there are other things. If you're in business and you need help, you are stuck with your administrative stuff and you need someone to help you break things down and put them in order, you're welcome to book a call with me. That's what I call the discovery call. If you want to learn how to do other things, because not everybody wants to be a home care business owner, but some people want to work remotely and you want to do your work at home and have more time with your family and kids. I do have a course on there. It's for virtual assistants. But once you're done with this course, you should be able to offer your services at home. Okay. So all the links are there. How you can connect with me too is there. Please join the mailing list so that you don't miss anything. But otherwise, whichever route you decide to take, whether it's in business or virtual assistant, I welcome you, and I welcome you in my space. The other thing is, I'll be back, okay, to share more. And this time we're going to talk about the power of systems. And we're just going to dive in with things of how to set up so that, how to stop working 24/7, because that is what I felt that I used to do. I used to work all the time. Okay. And then from there, we'll start building up, like I said, to other things. Okay. I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow, and once I figure out the exact time that I'll be coming live, then I'll make it consistent with the time. But I know I will be coming here live every day for a season. And then after that season, we can see where to go from here. Okay. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Bye bye.